guys, welcome back to Yappers. Hey! All right, so it's been a week since I last saw you. We didn't have an episode last week because life got in the way, as per usual. I think that's gonna be like probably the most tricky thing is like, what if we get like booked for a shoot like randomly or something?
It will happen.
Like,
it will happen.
Or like you're about to go on the fashion week and stuff.
It will happen. I just book like a Netflix series or something. You don't see me for like 6 months.
Yeah, we're like, shit. Guess the show's on hiatus. But for now, we're back and we're back for more. So Mia, how have you been since I last saw you?
I have been good. I'm still in the process of moving in.
Fair.
Still sorting everything out. Saw a couple films.
Nice.
Turned 23.
Oh shit! Yeah, happy belated birthday! Hey!
All that good stuff.
How'd you celebrate your birthday?
I like had some friends over for like picky bits and drinks, and it was really nice.
Cute.
And it was really chilled out.
Cute.
And I hosted because it meant that because like the people that are invited were like just very close friends. It was a very small group, and I was like, I reached a point sometimes at social gatherings where I just like tap out.
Fair.
And like because
like
it's at my
batteries run out.
And if it's at my own place, I can just literally go and take a nap.
Yeah,
and
that's the best.
And because they're all like my really close friends, they already know. They're like, oh, we don't give a shit. Like Mia's gone to take a power nap. We can carry on without her.
That's
like,
cute. All right, cool.
That's what I like.
Sick.
I actually didn't need to take a power nap for this one. But
wait, you actually took a power nap?
No, I didn't.
Oh,
but
I was gonna be like, oh shit.
But like when everybody left, I did pass out for like 2 hours.
Fair.
But we'd had a lot to eat and drink as well.
Fair. How's it feel to be 1 year older? What's your resolution for the year?
I think it's what my resolution is every year, which is to try and cook more things.
Okay, I mean that's a good resolution. It's doable as well, which is good.
Yeah, because I enjoy cooking, but sounds really weird. I'm really bad at cooking for myself. I like cooking for others more than I do for like myself. Do you know what I do?
Okay.
I'll do like a really I've done this before. I'll do like a really fun, complicated recipe, like, and it's just me, and then I'm done, and I'm like, I don't even want to eat this. Like, why did I make this?
Interesting.
It's like now, I've had the journey, and like now I'm just bored.
I can't even relate. Like, I don't know how that feels. Like, the fuck? That's like, so interesting.
It's
okay.
like, you know, like you've really amped something up and you've gone through this whole process.
I mean, yeah, I kind of get it.
And then I'm just like, oh, like that's it. And then I'm like,
interesting.
I actually would like some crisps right now instead.
Interesting. I don't know, man. Like, okay, to be fair, I can relate in the sense where it will take me 5 million kafillion years to decide on what I am making. But the minute I decide to and commit to it, I'm like one of those people where like, I'm going to fucking see it to the end and I want to taste that shit.
I think I'm quite like an intuitive eater. So like once I've had that hit of dopamine and that first bite and I'm like, I'm like, now I'm bored. What do I do now?
Okay, interesting.
Which is why I'm better at cooking for other people, because then I feel like there's more of a motivation and a goal. Like I get to share the meal with them.
What's like your go-to dish? Say we're all here at your new house. Boom, cooking us your first time you're cooking for us. What are you making?
Hong Sharia.
What's that?
Red pork.
Oh, fuck yeah, okay.
Because it's really easy. Well, it's not like super easy, but like once you've done the first few steps, it is just like a one pot and let it do its thing.
Okay, so I don't actually know how to make it.
Really?
Is it just
it's really easy.
Huh.
Like it is genuinely like, so the first step, it just involves a lot of aromatics and like you need to just get rid of like the excess oil and like the excess fat basically, which is why you have to go through some like first steps of like boiling in aromatics, draining, then draining again, and then you have to fry off the extra fat. But that once you've done that, it's literally just like a one pot and like bam. And it's also like most like Asian cooking for that bit, you just kind of eyeball, you just like
for sure. Sick.
And then just like put it with some rice and bok choy and you're done.
Sounds amazing. Yeah, fuck yeah. So it's like a braised beef dish kind of thing.
It's really good.
Okay, that sounds lit.
And it's a lot easier than people think. It was one of my first meals I learned to make, like literally when I was in uni, like freshers, like I was like, I want to make something cool.
To be fair,
good.
I feel like a lot of, maybe not Asian cooking, but a lot of Chinese cooking is quite simple.
Oh, yeah.
And yet I feel like at the same time, because it's simple, it can be easy to fuck up as well. Like sometimes like simple is like more difficult.
Sometimes you have to like find the happy medium. So like I didn't realize making dumplings was like that easy. But I buy the pre-made like dumpling wrappers.
That's completely fair.
Like I'm not gonna risk messing that up.
It's the same with like spring rolls and shit. Like obviously like if you make the dough or whatever, fair play to you. But there's no shame. There's no shame.
I've also seen enough of my friends try and attempt like full on from scratch, like char siu bao, and like
hey yo, if that sounds a little bit more hard.
If you mess up the like yeast, like ratio for like the fluffy bun part, so
I can imagine. Like okay, char siu bao is one of those things. Like okay, I wouldn't even
like it
try.
tastes like sour because of like the yeast. Like it's over. Like you know when the yeast is overdone and it just tastes like.
Yeah, okay. There's I think like when there's like too much margin for error, I wouldn't even have the balls.
When it becomes like a chemistry session instead of like a cooking session. Fair.
But like, you know how like egg fried rice, I was watching Uncle Roger yesterday. That's why it's on my mind. But like egg fried rice, for example, is like so simple to make. And yet there's definitely like finesse and technique. You know, it's like when you break it down, it just, you put it all in a wok and you're just freaking frying and that's it, right? But like I've had so many fried rice here in London that taste like ass. And it's like...
That's why I get fusion rice.
Okay. Yeah, I don't mind fucking rice. Yeah, okay.
Because it comes with like a sauce and like little bits in it. So like...
Okay.
I can't really mess that up.
Touche. I feel like me personally, like my favorite fried rice is like, you know, like the special fried rice that's on like English menus and shit. And it's just like a little bit of prawn, a little bit of char siu if you have it.
Yeah.
But like the key is genuinely like the wok. I think if you have a wok, you're halfway. We don't have a wok at home, unfortunately.
Oh, I need to get one.
Yeah, I need to get one too. That would be a sick gift as like the first, as your housewarming. Yeah, that would be my housewarming gift.
That's on my wish list right now.
That would be my housewarming to you. I'll get you a wok. That'd be a sick gift. And in return, get me a wok. Problem solved. Asian gifts.
Just the wok trade.
Bruh, a wok does like half the work in my opinion.
But also like a lot of Chinese dishes are a lot simpler than I expected. So I used to love like a good old like egg drop soup. Like tomato with like egg drop. And like
I get what you mean.
You can like add anything you want into it. Like when you're ill, you can put like chicken strips in it and shit like that.
I don't mind it.
It's so easy.
I think like with Chinese food, a lot of it really is just kind of like you put a bunch of shit together in one pot / like wok. That's
my type of cooking.
Genuinely, like, and a lot of the time it's something you can do in like 20 to 30 minutes.
My least favorite thing is frying things. It scares me.
Fair? Well, like deep fry or like just okay, fair.
Like I can make like a katsu curry.
I was gonna
like
say
pretty easily with like the Japanese curry blocks.
Sick.
And all of that, but I hate frying like the katsu. I'm like,
I get you. I think it is a little daunting for sure, and like it does look scary. I get you.
It's also just harder to like get the ratio, not ratio. You know the timings where it's like you want it crispy on the outside, but you want it like not raw on the inside. For sure. I find like getting the timing stressful.
I get you. I don't know. Luckily, like. I haven't had salmonella or anything yet from whenever I make like fried chicken and stuff.
Didn't Ida give you food poisoning at one point?
Yeah, she has given me food poisoning, but it was a salmonella, thank God. And funnily enough, she made, what the hell did she make? Okay, there were 2 occasions that off the top of my head that she poisoned me. Occasion number 1 was when she handmade like pasta from scratch.
Oh yeah, I remember you telling me about this.
And you would think that, you know, like, okay, so it probably wasn't food poisoning per se.
Probably like the flour or the eggs.
Yeah, but like, I don't know, something she did with the freaking dough and shit. And then like, it all kind of congealed and like became like one super fucking pasta ball.
Like
dough.
that.
Like that. And I had to eat that. And obviously I ate it and was like, oh yeah, it's good. And then like, I had to go to the toilet for like fucking 2 days. So that was fun. And then, the other time was she made potatoes and tomato and somehow she fucked it up. and again gave me the shits. Basically, I don't know how. She legit just put tomatoes and potato.
Is there something that like Ida is seasoning this food with that you're allergic to?
Maybe,
because I'm actually concerned because this shouldn't be happening.
Maybe, yeah. But because I was like standing next to her low key just to see like she's not killing people and shit. But from what I've seen, it's not like she's whipping out some crazy shit. It's not like she's whipping out some like, I don't know.
There is something that you're allergic to
Maybe.
that she's putting
Must
in
be.
these dishes.
Must be.
Like, that is not normal.
Yeah, potato and tomato.
Like, is she adding some kind of like oregano seasoning or something that like you're allergic to?
No, not even. Like she doesn't have the
she doesn't season them.
She doesn't. Okay, yeah, she doesn't season. Firstly, secondly, I don't think I don't know, man. I don't know. There's just something she does. Maybe it's.
Ida, we're so sorry, but we don't think you're a cook.
Yeah, that's just not her forte. But food poisoning aside, you know, I applaud the effort. That's
it's a thought that counts.
It's the thought that counts. It's the thought that counts. But okay, so your go-to would be like Asian food.
Yeah.
If you were gonna cook, fair.
I think it's also as well because people view Asian food as like difficult to cook. They're more impressed when I present it. And they're like, oh my god, you made this? And I'm like, yeah. It's not like I like throw everything in one pot and like let it sit.
Yeah, fair. I think like funnily enough, my go-to dishes are usually like white people dishes. Like because my family is so my grandfather was actually like Portuguese. So although I didn't really I met him when I was like very young. He passed away in like the year 2000. So I didn't really get to know him, but how
old were you in 2000?
4.
Okay.
Something like that. Yeah. So anyway, yeah. So my dad, he knows like some Portuguese like recipes and like a bit of the culture and stuff. So we've always like loved Portuguese food.
I think Mediterranean food though is different to white food.
Touche. Yeah. Good point. Actually, I do need to point. Yeah. Good point. Good. Mediterranean white people.
like a Mediterranean diet is like it's yummy, it's nutritious, it's healthy, and like I have never been disappointed when I've had food. Like
I'm trying to think
in that kind of part of Europe.
Yeah, that's fair though. That's very fair.
Like Mediterranean, like Europe is very different to like fish and potatoes. And
okay, very true. Good point. Yeah, I do need to specify which region.
There is a variety going on here.
True. Yeah, I would say like Mediterranean. Yeah, I would argue that takeaway Japanese, Chinese. Okay, takeaway Asian. Mediterranean is probably like my favorite.
I quite like French. Actually.
French food is amazing. I love French food.
I really love steak tartare.
Steak tartare is great.
I love steak tartare, and like France is the one place that like I will always find it in like a bistro or something, and it's always good.
Yeah, I get you. I love steak tartare.
I think really funnily. So last season, Paris Fashion Week, I'd actually had food poisoning for like a week before I went. It was really bad.
Oh shit!
I don't know what it was.
Steak tartare.
I wish. No, I know. I think what it was is that I traced it back to that day. I think the only thing I had different to my friend that day was like a pork ramen, and I think either the pork or the egg in
pork
it
can fuck you up.
Yeah,
pork can
it just was not good. I was like out for like 5 to 6 days.
Damn.
I was dehydrated as hell. Like I've never felt closer to death. I now know like why people back in them days, like without modern medicine, just like died. No, because like
it's true though.
I literally woke up and I was like, there's no water in me right now.
It's so true.
I'm gonna die. Like this is how it ends.
You know when people ask like, oh, if you could like time travel and shit, like, and then like whenever I ask that question, I have to always parenthesize and like make sure like you're immune to disease. Because if you go back in time and you don't have like fucking penicillin or paracetamol or anything, like, you're fucked.
The electrolyte drinks, I think, just saved me because
I can imagine.
That was not a good time. Anyway, one of the first things I ate, funnily enough, when my stomach could eat things was steak tartare.
You're crazy. You're nuts. I've recovered. I'm just gonna have some raw fucking beef now.
It was so funny though, because like obviously I was looking up what you're supposed to do, and immediately the thing that comes up is like the brat diet, which is not Charlie XCX.
Yeah, I was gonna say like the brat diet.
It's bread, rice, something and something.
What's A?
I don't know what it is. I know that it's like something like
A.
crackers, but it was like the
Okay.
most bland
A.
stuff you could imagine. And like after not being able to eat, bananas, rice, applesauce, and toast.
Bloody hell, that sounds miserable.
That's
sounds
like
ass,
that's like the
dude.
supposed diet, and obviously,
That sounds like crap.
no, literally, me being Asian, I was like, not eating that.
I'm
So
gonna have steak tartare.
no, to be fair, the first night I had pizza, so I had something cooked,
Okay.
And then-
Fair.
but it had like olives and anchovies on it. I can't lie.
Bloody hell.
And then I just immediately got back into eating.
Your
my-
innards were legit like, no, please give us a
No,
chance.
because I also was just like, I didn't want my stomach to adapt to like,
shit food.
yeah. Do you know what I mean? Like, I didn't want to.
We're back to eating
Literally,
good, guys.
I was like, we're gonna throw it in the deep end. Like, if I'm ill, that's on me. But if I'm not, stomach is still.
There is like this kind of thinking, at least when I used to go to local school in Hong Kong. There was like, because we'd go to like the food vendors and like the tuck shops on the streets and shit. And let's be real, they were not hygienic. But we always had this mentality of, if your body can't survive like a little cockroach leg, then you don't deserve to be in this world anyway. So we were like, fuck it.
Your body will evolve. It will
Exactly.
adapt.
Like, you know, we're just there like, our bodies are built for this, you know? Like, we can survive a little bit of poo.
Yeah, I think I was in Paris for like a week
Fair.
after like post food poisoning.
Mm,
I think I had steak tartare like 5 out of those 7 days.
that's crazy.
But they
That's
prepared it
crazy.
differently in different places as well.
Okay.
Which
okay.
helped.
Okay. All right. Fair. I think like that's the thing with steak tartare is like normally, well, but I'd say, yeah, you should just be careful about any raw meat and like raw things in general, obviously.
yeah.
Like, yeah. But I think that's the only reason why like I don't make it a regular treat. But fair play.
And
I guess not for you.
I feel like I'm one of those like, have you seen the dogs on Instagram that are like on a raw diet?
I mean, yes.
I feel like that's me at this point because
okay.
I just like
okay.
like
fair.
I really like oysters,
Oysters are good. Yeah.
but I know I need to like slow down on them because
Would you say like this is interesting actually, because Ida obviously being Italian, she's always like the first to say Italian food's the best food, yada yada yada. But what would you say is the best cuisine in the world?
in the world.
In the world, just like straight up best cuisine. Because for me, it's there's like a pretty clear ranking.
It's gonna be one of the Asian ones.
There we go.
But it's a matter of like, because to me, they are very different. Like,
Of course.
despite what people think,
oh yeah, of course.
they are very different.
They're
And
very different,
it's always very much dependent on how I'm feeling. Like,
Touche. Very true.
okay, I'm gonna go purely on health wise.
Oh wow. Okay.
Taste, like overall, like longevity of a cuisine.
Cool.
Of a
Okay.
cuisine, you know what I
Okay.
mean?
Yeah. Touche.
Like longevity of a diet
Okay.
and the variety within it.
Ooh, we're going deep. All right. Okay.
I'm going to say Japanese.
Boom. S tier. Love that.
Okay.
Love.
I think Japanese purely because I love Chinese food. Sometimes it can be a little bit too rich for me.
Very true.
With Korean food, also love it, but I'm not a huge spice gal, as we know. And also, I feel like it's really sweet. Some things
I
in
get what you mean.
Korea,
I
like
get what you mean. Yeah.
like their savory
Yeah,
stuff,
yeah.
still has like a sweet tang
Yeah,
to it, which is great. But that's not really like my
Fair.
like ideal palette.
Fair.
Whereas Japanese, I think, just has that kind of overall variety. And also,
100.
I'm not gonna lie, like udon, it's basically pasta. But like
Noodles is basically Asian pasta. Yeah, I agree. I always say that. Yeah.
and like I think Japan with their, you know, with the variety of ramen, like their general fish. I love seafood.
Yeah,
like
same.
the way that they can do grilled and like sashimi and
Yeah.
like any type of fish,
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, go for it.
It's just
And their vegetables and like just
yeah,
overall like
so true.
for like with miso and like natto, like it is like quite a healthy diet overall.
Not very true. I mean,
So
there's
if I
a
was- if
reason
I-
why they
yeah,
live so long.
If I was
right?
gonna
Yeah.
stick to like one cuisine and I'd
That's
say it's
fair.
the best
That's fair.
on
I-
like a couple of different merits, I would
Mm.
have to go with Japanese.
I think I agree. 100% agree. It's just annoying when like so many people think Japanese food is only like sushi, for example. Only like, you know, one type of
sushi
thing.
and ramen. There's like no in between.
When there's like so much diversity
Also,
and variety.
Japan has like J barbecue. So if you like Korean barbecue, like that aspect, they have it in Japan.
Very true.
They got yakiniku. You'll be good. Yeah.
Yakiniku's lit.
And they have like shabu shabu, which is like hot pot, but like
legit sukiyaki shabu shabu.
So this is what I'm saying. This is why I'm like, I feel like Japan has like amalgamated a lot of the best parts. So that's why it's like the top tier for me.
Omu rice as well, a little bit of fusion in there. Let's go, baby. Have you know the famous omu rice like chef guy, the one that has like a wacky haircut?
I feel like I've seen him.
The one that like does like crazy like sound effects, and he's like,
yeah, I've seen him in videos. Yeah,
I've seen him in videos. Love him.
I want one of the volcano ones. You know when they twist it.
Yeah, I've seen it. Yeah, I've seen. There's actually I saw it in Chinatown like a couple weeks ago.
Really?
Yeah. I wouldn't go though. It looks like a tourist trap. Cool. But I saw it. I was like, oh shit.
Have you tried the little like oyster cakes thing yet?
Oyster cakes?
They're not actual oyster. Well, they're called oyster cakes, but it's like pork and oyster cakes. Whoa. And it's like this like giant fried ball of like goodness. Like imagine a spring roll, but like in ball form, and it's like chocked full of like pork and veggies and like oysters, and it's so good.
Where is it?
And it's like £2 as well. It's like it's great. It's on the little alleyway. Do you know where P2 bus is? The Chinese.
Yeah.
It's on that alleyway.
To be fair, that alleyway is like pretty popping. All right, fair.
It's there, and it's really, really good. However, if you have a peanut allergy, do not go near there.
I'm good.
Because they A, fry in peanut oil.
Love it.
And B, they actually fry peanuts like
love
within
it. Love it.
Because like I only got it when Aaron was away because I was like,
there's no allergy?
I was like, there's no risk of like.
I mean, my best friend has a nut allergy as well. It's peak, but
like there's no risk in me bringing the peanuts home then. Fair. But like I remember I took a bite and then there was like literally just like a whole peanut in there, and I was like, there was no way he can come near this place.
But fair. Okay, that's good to know. Good to know. But yeah, no, I agree. 100% Japanese food. Got the variety, got that freshness, got that, you know, it's just got everything.
And like,
it ticks all the boxes.
Eat Tokyo gets a lot of flack.
I think it's shit.
But you can just look at the menu that they have in Eat Tokyo, like the huge
It
binder.
is a fucking
to know the variety
encyclopedia,
that you can eat within Japanese cuisine.
Fair.
And that's
100%. Yeah. I think like, yeah, for me, Japan is goated in terms of cuisine. All right, so what about top 5? Yeah, like 2, 3, 4, 5. Because I'll go Japan. Okay, then for me, it's Chinese, specifically Cantonese. Okay?
Oh yeah.
All right, because I love me my Cantonese food. I grew up with it. I have it basically every other day. It's the easiest to cook. And then I want to say Vietnamese is third for me because it's got that perfect like Asian, but with like a little bit of that Frenchness as well, with like the banh mi's and the baguettes and like their
there's some
finesse.
really good pho in Notting Hill.
Pho, love pho as well. Oh, and then I would actually say French.
Yes, I do love French.
French food is sick.
Look, French people, not my favorite kind of people. Only because I think my experiences have just unfortunately been at the height of Fashion Week, and no one is being polite during that time.
Touche.
But the food is like
their food is so good.
Nothing like
their
macarons.
Food is so good.
I love macarons.
It's a little too sweet for me, but okay, fair.
True.
What would you say is like? Yeah, okay. Other than steak tartare, I guess. Like what your go-to French food.
My go-to like French. When they do like a confit or something, like a duck confit.
Yeah, I feel you.
Or something. Like I had a really nice duck confit.
Cute.
At a French place.
Cute.
That was a really
do love confit. I think like for me, like obviously the coq au vin, you don't like chicken though. Yeah, it's basically just like a chicken stew dish. Very hearty, very warm.
Beef bourguignon.
Beef bourguignon is
French
great.
Onion soup.
French onion soup's lit. I do love French onion soup.
Yummy.
I think what I love about the French is like it's very similar to Japanese food in the sense like it's fresh. It's like light palates a lot of the time. Obviously, you got like stews that are very hearty.
Well, French people love Japanese food.
Exactly. I think they go so well. They go so well. And I was gonna say like they also have this mentality of like they cook a lot of the animal as well. Like they're not afraid to have like sweetbreads or tripe or I don't know, cow's brains, all amazing by the way. Pate, everything. Like I really like that about them. But funnily enough, that you say like that fusion. Did you ever watch Iron Chef when you were a kid?
The name sounds really familiar.
It's like
I probably watched at least
it's
like 2 episodes.
Yeah, it's like a cooking show where like it was a Japanese cooking show. I think it's in America now because obviously, but originally I think it aired in like the early 90s to like late 90s maybe. And I grew up watching it, and it's like they have this arena and they have like a secret ingredient of the day. Then they have like a challenger would come in, and they always invite the top chefs across Japan. And then the challenger enters and he gets to challenge one of the house chefs. And each of these house chefs are called Iron Chefs. And there's like Iron Chef Italy, Iron Chef France, Iron Chef Japan, and Iron Chef China. So then the challenger goes in, and then they're like, I'm going to challenge Japan. And then they both meet in the middle, and then they announce like the secret ingredient. And then they both have to make like a 7-course meal out of that. Loved that show. It was lit. But anyway, there was the best chef was Iron Chef France. They're all Japanese. But he, of course, they're all Japanese. But it's like an anime almost. But like, yeah, he specialized in French cuisine, but he fused Japanese cuisine and French cuisine. And he trained in France for like years. Bruh, the stuff he would make, lit. Like he would create like art and you're like, oh, I want that so bad. I don't know. I think Japanese and French food just goes so well together. I think it's like a winning combo almost. But yeah, well, okay. Top 5.
I think it's pretty similar to you. It'd be Japanese, Chinese.
Sick.
And I think then I would probably go French.
Love.
Only because Vietnamese food has a lot of peanuts.
Fair.
So I haven't really had much experience with it.
Fair.
So I've got French. I think after that I would go Mediterranean.
Yeah, Portuguese and Mediterranean in general is very
like,
close to me. Yeah.
I've always enjoyed that kind of cuisine. Like whenever I've been on holiday in Europe.
Yeah, fair.
I've like never been like disappointed.
Very true. Very true.
And then I would say I'm trying to think now.
I do love like
Spanish.
Fair.
Spanish, Latin American.
Fair.
Like there's this really like I love a patata tortilla.
Okay.
Which is like the egg potato omelette. Like that is so good. Fair. And like tomato bread as well.
Okay,
like,
yeah.
Never go wrong with that.
Cute. Yeah.
I think it obviously is bordering into Mediterranean.
Yeah.
With that
That's
kind
the thing
of
with Portuguese
stuff.
and Spanish food is like, yeah, they are Mediterranean influenced, and yeah, I get you.
But then also like with that, I'm concluding like a little bit of Mexican, like
fair.
You know what I like?
Fair.
Mexican food
Yeah.
So good.
Hot take. I think I'm not the biggest fan of Mexican food.
Really?
I think like I've had some amazing Mexican food, obviously, when I was in LA and stuff, but I don't know. It's not my go-to.
I like it because it's reliable. Maybe Greek. Actually, I really like Greek food.
Yeah, but the Mediterranean, you know, Greek.
Yeah,
I would like categorize.
I think I just.
You did group just like
I just like meat and pulses. I think
fair. Yeah, I don't know. Mexican food, like, I think, I don't know. For me, a lot of the time, it just, I would never say like, let's get Mexican food. When it's there, I don't mind it. Like, I'd be very happy with it. But I wouldn't go out of my way and be
I think the closest I've come to being like is when I'm in a food court and I'm like,
fair.
Let's get that.
Fair. I don't know. Just never really. I don't know. It's just not really my thing.
I can't really think of what other cuisines there is. Like. American.
No such thing. Lol. I do love like I do love some South American cuisines are amazing. Peruvian food. I love ceviche. Like again, it's kind of like sushi basically, but I do love I
had to explain to my friend what carpaccio was the other day. They had no idea what it was.
Fair. I mean, I guess like this is an interesting hot take now that you mentioned that. Okay, maybe not hot
Yeah.
take, but Eden, I think that, I don't know where your friend was from, but British people are probably the least adventurous when it comes to food. What are your thoughts on this?
I don't disagree.
Fair?
I really, I feel like the British people I know who enjoy more adventurous foods are either POC or POC adjacent in the sense that they have friends who are POC.
Yeah. Very true. Very
or they're like related to a POC somehow in like
very
terms
true,
of like sister-in-law, cousin type of thing.
Obviously, blanket statement, yeah.
But like, so I grew up in like like a pretty white family. And you know, to be fair, actually, my dad was very adventurous with food.
That's good.
But he traveled a lot. So I think that's probably where he got it from, because whenever he traveled, he would always enjoy the cuisine of that place. Like he would go to some really crazy countries and he would legit just like, I'm going to have the street food. I'll have the street meat.
That's good though. I respect that.
I think he risked his innards a lot doing that. But
that's the way to live though. That is the way to do it.
You know, branching out and traveling kind of forces you to have to be adventurous with your food.
Yeah.
I think then in turn, he influenced me to be a bit more adventurous with food and stuff like that. I think it is very much like what you learn.
Of course. Yeah.
Because a lot of picky eaters I know annoy me because they're picky in the sense that they won't even try.
That's what I mean.
Like,
I think that's...
If you've tried it and
you
like,
don't like it, then fair enough. Yeah.
More than fine. At least you did bother to try it. But the ones that will literally be like, oh, it looks funny.
That's what I mean. I think that's...
I'm like, grow up.
Exactly. I think that's what I mean by like least adventurous is like there's so many people here that I know.
I think it's an unwillingness to try.
Yeah. Exactly. I think
because I think I've met a lot of people that are willing to try things and that's fun. But the people that just immediately shoot it down, I'm just like, well, what's the harm?
Yeah. Like what exactly? You take
one bite of my dish, you don't like it. We can move on with our lives and it'll be funny. At most, it'll be funny. You'll spit it out and you'll be like, whoa, and it'll be like, haha.
No, 100%.
I think when there's not really any risk and people choose not to do things for fun, very true. I think that's the most boring.
Very true. Like the thing is, like, obviously I understand, you know, like there's completely no like discrimination or like no hate towards like people that are happy with I'm trying to phrase this in like a nice way. Like, like here's the thing, right? Like if you like what you like, fair enough. You know, like I like.
Also, just for reference, we are not including people here that are like neurodivergent or have allergies.
Oh yeah, of course. Oh yeah, okay. That goes without saying. Yeah,
clearly have a palate. For like a very specific reason.
For sure.
People that don't really like have a justification like that and you're just choosing to be boring, that's a different thing entirely.
And the thing is, like, if you like, you know, it's okay to be boring, like fair enough, you know, like if you're happy, like you're happy, like good for you. It's just like it's just a shame, you know, like I feel like food is just such a beautiful thing. Like it's such like it's like the first step, arguably, to
sometimes peer pressure works. Sometimes you have to invoke peer pressure.
Do it, eat it.
No, because sometimes like
no, it's true.
That's the way that I got my friend to try mussels for the first time.
Oh, love mussels.
He was like, this is when we were kids, and he was such a picky eater as a kid.
Fair.
You know the kids that were like, I don't like cheese, but only if it's melted on pizza. You know, like one of those kids. That. And like wouldn't eat tomatoes, wouldn't eat this, wouldn't eat that. And he just would also like point blank refuse to eat a lot of foods that I ate. Like I love sushi. He'd be like, "Oh, why are you eating that? Like it's raw fish."
Yeah, I get that. I still get that. Yeah.
And just in general, and I know it's because that like he just obviously hadn't grown up in a way where he was just like, you know, expected to try things, and that's completely fine.
Yeah, of course.
But when he was on holiday with me and my family, we were just like, no, you have to eat these mussels. You have to do it.
Good.
And he did it, and he loved them.
Good.
So lessons learned. Sometimes peer pressure has to work.
I think like
push your friend off that. No.
Whoa. I think that's the other thing is like, especially when you're traveling with like friends and stuff, like, oh, the worst is when you're with like non-foodies. when you're traveling and you're a foodie and you're like, guys, let's try this sick place. They do this freaking amazing, I don't know, whatever dish that's like fermented or something. I think a good litmus test
is take someone to Paris, see if they have snails.
Fair.
Because snails, I've tried them a couple of times. Kind of boring, if I'm honest.
I think it depends on how you cook.
I like the sauce more.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think the French way of doing it, it's because of the sauce.
Yeah.
Because like Chinese, Japanese snails. Yeah, I'd argue that snails really is just the sauce, to be fair.
Yeah.
Like the sauce makes it really good. I get you.
But I consider it like a pretty low risk, but like fun, interesting food thing to do.
Fair.
And if people are just point blank, no, that looks weird. I'm like, okay, well, you're not going to be any fun on this trip.
Yeah, I get you. Like, again, I get it if you've tried it and you don't like it. But at least, you know.
Yeah, my mum tried it and was like, I can't do it.
That's fair.
She had it and then she was also a bit like, I just can't get over the shells. Like, there's something about, I can't do it. And I was like, fair dues, but at least you tried it.
Yeah, that's fair.
That's how I feel a little bit about crab.
I fucking love crab.
So I love crab and I love crabs and lobsters. Don't get me wrong. But actually lobsters I'm fine with, but crabs, their legs are like weirdly hairy.
Yeah,
sometimes
true. They do have that. Yeah,
creeps me out.
hair
I
on the
can't
side.
do it.
Okay, fair
like
enough.
I have to get someone else to like crack that crab.
Well, at least you're still eating it.
Yeah,
it's just someone else is doing the hard work.
But it just, I think because it's like spider adjacent, and I
kind of get that. Yeah,
deathly terrified of spiders.
I kind of get that. Fair.
But it's more of like a shock.
That's
like
fair.
Deep visceral reaction I have more than anything.
God, I love crab. Fucking like honestly.
There's a place in Chinatown that does salted egg lobster. And it's £50, so it's £25 per person.
Oh, lit. So worth it. Oh, that sounds lit. Oh, I want some.
And like I was like nibbling at like the shell because of the amount of like egg, like salted egg crust that was on there. I was like,
wait, have you had hairy crab?
No.
No, yeah, because like the minute you said the hairy crab is thighs up high in Hong Kong. Oh,
I can't do it. Bruh. I mean, I would eat it.
It is,
but I wouldn't be able to touch it.
That's fair. Yeah, just have Aaron fucking do everything for you. Boom, problem solved.
I just think anything spider adjacent, I really can't deal with. It's like a mental like thing.
You know when like sometimes on chicken wings you get like a little bit of hair.
Yeah, because like
are you like?
I just like had like I think I'll be okay, but I had like a really not scary, but like it really shocked me as a kid. Basically, it was in the back of the car. If anyone knows, going to Cornwall from the like east of England, it's like a 7-hour journey. And we just set off and like I'm in the back, I'm Tetrised in with all of this luggage. Like literally, like I'm Tetrised in, the dogs are next to me, like there is nowhere to go. And we are literally on the motorway at this point, so there's not really going to be any hard shoulders. And just in the corner of my eye, this huge spider just comes crawling down. Like I'm talking like, I'm not even exaggerating. Like it was like this big. It was hairy. It was spindly.
What,
it was
like a tarantula?
Not like that hairy, but you know when like they're like got full on.
Dude,
like,
that's like huge. You're like that's wham.
Yeah, it was like huge.
Hey, yo, okay.
And like I'd always been a little bit scared of spiders, but I've been able to deal with them. Like I could pick one up and take it out. You know, that's where I was at. I was like, oh, gross, but yeah. But when that came down my shoulder, I screamed, obviously. And my mum was like, Mia, what are you? Oh, she turned around and was like, why are you screaming? Oh. And even she was like, oh, yeah, I'd scream at that. And obviously, because we were stuck, I was stuck in the back of the car. I just immediately panicked and just burst into tears. Literally, I didn't know what to do. I was like, oh, I don't know what to do. So my dad pulled over on the hard shoulder. My mum opened the door and immediately just like, and ever since then, I can't go near spiders.
I mean, that's kind of fair though. Like that, at least like
I literally like, I think I would cry.
I mean, the way you freaking like, if it really was that big, that's fucking wham.
It was awful. I don't know where it came from either. But
yeah, I didn't even know they had spiders that big here. But fair.
To be fair, I think it's because like the area that we are in Cornwall, so we were driving back from Cornwall to Essex.
Right.
It's like quite countryside-y, you know what I mean? Like we sometimes get grass snakes in the garden type countryside, fair. You know. I guess it just must have like come in with the luggage or something. That's but ever since then, like if I see a spider that's a little bit too big, I will start crying.
I never had the fear of spiders or snakes or anything, but the one thing that I'm terrified of are lizards. hear me out, right?
They're like mini dragons.
I know.
That's so cool.
The thing is, I have no issue with Komodo dragons or iguanas,
Okay.
specifically the small ones.
Oh, the little like.
I think they're like fucking. They're just creepy, man. Like it's like a snake with legs. And
okay,
like,
do you understand where you're coming from with that?
What do you mean?
Like with the uncanniness of it
Yeah.
can like really get to you.
I mean, maybe that's it. Like maybe really that is it. It's like, and then have you heard lizard sounds? Like the sounds they make, bro. It's fucking disgusting. It's like not disgusting, but it's like they sound like mini hyenas. Like if you really like, if you just sat in a, because basically in Hong Kong we have lizards fucking everywhere, right? And like I'd be like in the study to study, obviously doing my homework and shit, and there'll be so many lizards, and they were just like, and I'm like, shut the fuck up, man.
Yeah, no, that would drive me
Bro,
insane.
I hated them with a passion.
Like cicadas, but like worse.
Yeah, but like at least like cicadas, like they could sound like quite nice, maybe like you know like that anime like summer's day, like. But like these guys, right? They were like nibbling or something, and then like ugh. And I think that hatred turned to fear as I grew older. I was just like, oh god.
Yeah.
So yeah, lizards, funnily enough, are the one thing that I don't like. Oh, toads. I don't like toads. Frogs,
really?
Okay. Toads, disgusting. Because they've got like the warts and like the...
To be fair, I know a lot of people that are scared of moths.
Okay.
But they love butterflies, but they're scared of moths.
I mean,
which
I
think it's just being shallow because they're basically the same thing, and one just happens to be a little bit ugly.
Yeah,
than the
they're
other.
just a little ugly. Yeah, fair.
But I get,
I mean, it's pretty much the same thing with toads.
like the toad and like
they're just ugly as
frog
fuck.
distinction.
Yeah, I don't like them.
I
like,
can see it. I can see
they
it.
hang out in mud and shit.
I just think logically, I don't think we'd come across like any poisonous like lizards or like toads. So in my head, I'm just a bit like, oh, that's a bit gross, but I'm not really like scared of it.
Fair. Yeah, I don't know. I just think that
which is how I used to feel about spiders in the sense where I was like, oh, it's a bit ugly, but you know what? It's not gonna hurt me. Mew.
Fair.
Now I can't even go near one.
Fair. Yeah, spiders, snakes, don't mind them. Shot with them before, they're cool. Again, it's like almost like the more grotesque something. Okay. Again, toads, another thing. But like cockroaches and like rats and whatnot, I don't mind them at all.
I really couldn't give a toss about rats or mice. I don't know why, but I think it's also because I grew up with like a house full of pets. We had like 2 dogs, 2 cats, all of that. One of my cats was a prolific mouser. Like at one
bringing dead rats.
Oh
and shit?
yeah,
Sick.
like at one point, like we like sometimes we'd come home like for like 5 out of 7 days in that week, we'd come home, there would be a dead rat on the doorstep.
Sick.
And we were just like, great, another one.
Our dog used to do that, funnily enough.
Really?
Yeah, we had a dog mouse hunter. Yeah, he would lay it on my parents' pillows. He'd be like, hey guys, welcome home, check this out. I'd be like, oh God.
To be fair, my cat did try and bring me a present. And it was still alive.
Oh God!
So she like let it go, and I just had a mouse in my room for like 24 hours.
Well, like full on like
because it was literally like it was like 2 a.m. at night. I should have been asleep, but I was like scrolling on my phone, and then out of the corner of my eye, I just see this like brown like shape just like moving across the carpet, and I was like,
"What the hell?"
And I just see these little 2 like rodent eyes staring up at me.
Oh
like
shit!
We just like made eye contact, and then I was like, well, I've got work tomorrow, so
I don't need to deal with this shit.
Yeah, literally, I was like, I can't be bothered to deal with you right now, so I'm just gonna deal with you in the morning. So I woke up, couldn't find it in the morning.
Of course.
Just shut my door and windows, went to work, and I came back. It'd come out by that point, put it in a shoebox, and set it free.
Oh, fair. At least you found him.
But I'm really so indifferent to like mice.
Yeah, I don't really mind mice and rats. I remember.
I think I'm just desensitized. I've seen rat innards.
Yeah, I think the same. Like growing up in Asian shit, like we saw lots of this shit.
To be fair, the thing that freaks me about rats, how long their tails are.
Fair, I get you.
I think their tails are weirdly long and spindly.
I get
Beyond that, fine. Don't
get that. I remember we used to have, like, we used to live in quite an old house in Hong Kong, and we remember we had like a rat. Like house or some shit, like there was a bunch of rats and shit, and we had to get the exterminator. But I remember we had a live-in helper, and I just remember so distinctly a part of my childhood. She caught one And then she just held it by the tail and just flung it out, like towards the street. She was just like, "Oh, it's okay, no worries, I get rid." I was like, "Holy shit!" She legit just raw dogged it.
Oh
Like,
my god!
and I was like, "You're a badass motherfucker."
Oh, that's so
And then she
funny.
did, and I'm pretty sure she did the same. Like we had like a snake as well in our back garden. She did the exact same thing again. Where it wasn't like a big
You don't
one.
fuck with the aunties; they don't care.
She didn't give a fuck. She legit just raw dogged it. It was, "Oh, it's okay. You fling it back to the HR." She was just throw it down the hill. Was just like, "Oh, great, okay." But she was a badass. She was a badass.
Oh my god!
But yeah, I think that's another reason why like I'm just kind of desensitized to like rats and shit. You know, just because I used to see that shit all the time. I remember in one time my friend came over from England. And we saw this spider. You would shit your pants. We saw this spider that was like on a web between these trees and shit. The web was so like I'm telling you, the wingspan is the size of that. Not wingspan. The leg span is that light. I shit you not. It was wham! It was crazy.
I would have needed a gun, and not for the spider. For me, I would have given up there and then.
I'm cooked. Fair. All right. Well, okay. We okay. So to end today's episode, why don't we do a round of hot takes?
Okay.
I'm
trying to think now.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Just random hot take. Could be about what we talked about. Could be about anything. We've had a few here and there, but straight up hot take.
My child will not have an electronic device until they are in double digits.
Yeah, okay, that's not really a hot take though. I feel like lots of people share that sentiment, no?
I don't know. Maybe it's because like we've grown up seeing the iPad kids.
Yeah, okay. I feel like maybe
We're
it might be a
just the
hot take
other
to
way
new
around.
generations,
Yeah.
but toward like yeah, okay.
Touch dirt, touch grass.
Touch grass, you fucking
Climb some trees like a normal child.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Touch grass, climb a mountain. Okay. Hot take. All right. Hot take. Kind of related to what we were talking about earlier.
Mm-hmm.
There is no good food / cuisine Eastern European like Eastern Bloc countries. Y'all have no food cuisine. No food culture.
I used to think that as well.
Oh, okay, yeah.
But
Enlighten me.
I have seen some videos of like girls, like a girl being cooked like food by her Slav.
I thought you said the girl was being cooked.
No.
What the fuck, dude?
A girl being cooked food by her like Slavic grandmother.
Okay.
And they do have like dishes and stuff that they enjoy, and some of them I think I would enjoy.
Fair.
They like their pickled condiments.
Fair.
And I love pickles.
Yeah. So again, caveat, parenthesis. There are obviously certain dishes and exceptions to this rule. Like,
but you feel like it hasn't permeated.
I think that's the thing. Is just like
a culinary sphere.
Exactly. I think
I do.
And a lot of
it
it does obviously stem from basically Soviet times and like rough times, essentially, right?
Communism.
Yeah. But that said, I do love like a borscht, great soup.
Yeah.
I love a borscht. You know, beef stroganoff. I don't even know if that actually is it just sounds Eastern European, but beef stroganoff, love. Polish pierogi, pretty good. But for me, it's a B-Tech Chinese dumpling. So
I think every culture has their own dumpling.
True, touche. I'm trying to think like what other East. Okay, maybe I need to rephrase it. Maybe I just haven't experienced it yet. Like I'm not cultured enough yet.
Mm-hmm.
But thus far, I have not had a dish that I'm like, whoa.
We need some like angry Slovaks in your
Boom,
comments
yeah,
now.
legit. Hit me up right now. Send me a recipe. I want to hit that shit up. And that's the thing. I'm always willing to try. So I'm down. But yeah, that's my hot take.
Okay.
And it might not even be that hot a take because like now I'm starting to backtrack a little bit. Maybe I just haven't experienced it. But yeah.
My one is being put in the fuck zone is worse than being put in the friend zone by men specifically.
Okay. Well, okay. Lane change. Right. Okay. Being put in the fuck zone.
So as in like
is worse than friend zone. So your own.
Because like I hear nothing but Men suffer in silence. Can you do it a little bit quieter then? I just hear so much discourse about, especially now with a lot of the whole red-pilled, black-pilled men going around being like, oh, all women do is use men and and they never give us anything in return.
Yeah,
and
sounds
I'm
like incel
that's
behavior,
called
though.
a friendship, first of all.
Okay, touche, yeah.
But I know so many female friends who have cultivated friendships with men who they viewed as genuine platonic connections that they valued, only for these men to turn around and be like, oh, actually, I fancied you this entire time.
Okay.
And I personally experienced this as well.
Mm-hmm.
And it just feels just really, A, a little bit violating, to be honest, and B, just really just like, it hurts a lot to know that this entire time, this friendship was built on the fact that he was playing the long game and just wanted to have sex with you.
Right. But so what was the hot take again? So
that being put in the fuck zone is what I call it, is way worse than this so-called friend zone that men like to cry about.
Right. Okay, I'm still trying to wrap my head around it. Okay, so I kind of get what you mean.
Because I understand from their perspective how disappointing it might be to have a crush on somebody,
And then
you shoot your shot and
yeah.
it doesn't work out.
Yeah.
And if you take it on the nose and you're like, look, whatever, it's fine, doesn't work out.
Yeah.
That is a really, mature, decent way to go about it.
But what you're saying is finding out that this guy is only friends with you because he wants to fuck you.
Yeah. Has like I know.
I
know people that have been in like years long friendships.
Yeah.
That then have had love confessed to them, and then they've been like, "But this entire time, I've made it clear that we are friends, and that's what I value and what I enjoy, and you would rather treat me like a potential love interest.
I kind of get that.
Than respect that this is what I value. Do you know what I mean?
I kind of get that. Yeah, I kind of get that. Yeah.
Like
that's true.
I think it's just very disappointing to think that you've had...
It's almost like you've built everything we've built on is fake.
You've built like a genuine connection with someone and you think, oh my God, like I actually have
I can imagine that'd be sucky. Yeah. That'd be shit.
Like, oh, I've got like a really good friend. Like I feel like we've really worked.
Whereas like a friend zone is just like, you can kind of get over it pretty quick.
Yeah.
Like it's like a one time.
Yeah,
all right,
exactly.
Cool. Yeah. You know, she
like,
doesn't fancy me.
I know friends who have had like, male friends they've literally viewed as like brothers and siblings because they've been so close, they've been through a lot, and they've like really enjoyed having that platonic and genuine connection.
Yeah.
And then for him to be like, oh well, actually, I thought maybe down the line we could have something.
Fuck. Yeah.
And then she's like,
yeah. Fair.
Do you not understand what the concept of friendship is?
That's fair.
And then.
I don't know. I feel like most people would agree with you, though.
I don't know, because the issue I have with it is that a lot of men, this is generalization, of course, but I feel like certain men do not know how to cultivate actual friendships.
Right.
Even with other men, let alone with women.
Okay.
Like in terms of like emotional maturity and emotional dependence.
Okay.
And I think if, certain men were able to sort of care more about these friendships on less than a surface level of like, oh yeah, we're boys and we go drinking on the weekend, and I know actually that is a friend that you can rely on and you need to reach out and make part of your community. I think everyone would be better. I think everything would be better.
Fair. I mean that's very fair. That's very fair. I don't know. I feel like any logical person would agree with you though. Like I feel like
maybe I've been on Twitter too much because I've seen some like.
Yeah, but I feel like Twitter is always loud.
It's like a cesspit.
It's like an echo cesspit chamber where like everyone's opinions are extra loud.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like that's a very fair and logical statement.
Because like whenever I've seen girls talk about this online, a lot of men fight back by being like, oh, well, he's invested all this time. Like, how could he not like...
just giving incel vibes.
Of course, like... There's always the potential to fall in love, like if that's how long you guys have known each other.
Yeah, I agree. Like not agree with that point, but I agree with you. Like that's just dumb as fuck.
I'm like, okay, cool, feelings can develop. But this isn't a rom-com, buddy.
Yeah.
And if she's,
it's not a movie, bro.
And the woman in this equation has expressed continually that she does not want to pursue anything romantic. It is up to you to respect that.
No, for sure.
Or take a step back without expecting any more from her.
100. Yeah.
And I just think that's the issue I have.
That's fair. That's completely fair. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like any like normal, moral, decent human being would agree with you. So agreed. Fair.
I also think like you're allowed to be upset if things don't work out.
Oh yeah, of course.
But I think I've just seen men behave very bitter.
Yeah, but that's just like
on the other end of
egos
it.
and shit, and like obviously like they're just hurt and they just like they're legit. They're just like women are evil, man. You're so fucking evil, bro. Like, those signs were there, man. I'm just like shut up. I think like I feel like I don't know. I feel like right now in society, at least, I think Twitter, social media is amazing. Obviously, we have talked about this before about like bridging gaps, letting people have their voices and shit. And again, I'm sure some people will say like, oh, freedom of speech. But like we have given so many platforms
the freedom
to like
of speech argument,
to like dumb people. Like, I feel like dumb people say so much dumb shit, and they're often so loud.
Whenever people, so I've come across, I've received like some rude ass comments online, like whatever.
Of course.
And obviously you shouldn't reply to them. However, one or two, I can't help but be like, and what do
so
you mean by that?
I'm ready on you.
I'm like, what do you mean by that?
Uh-huh.
And they'll always come back and be like, well, I have free speech to express my opinion.
So
and then my response is, well, if your first instinct when you have free speech is to be a dick, then you're clearly just not a nice person.
Yeah, like, bro, you need a life.
You have all this freedom and political freedom to say the things you desire,
100%.
and your desire is to be a bitch online. Like, come on. Maybe strive for something better.
I feel like
reflect.
Yeah, I feel like I don't know. Like, obviously, yeah, the internet is there for everyone and whatnot. Bada bing, bada boom. But
I also think people are entitled with their opinion.
Of course.
But a lot of the time, their opinion is just thinly veiled
insults. Yeah, legit. And I'm just there, like, you know, if you have something bad to say, like, just don't fuck. Like, that's the other thing. Like, when people like take the time to leave a hateful comment.
So there's like this thing called virtue signaling.
Yeah.
I have noticed a phenomenon online that I have dubbed negativity signaling, where people love. I've seen this before, so. This has happened to me quite a few times, and throughout each time I've dealt with it differently.
Okay.
Where I've had a video go viral and the majority of the comments are positive, which is, you know, been nice. It's been reassuring. But there's always at least one person that loves to do them. Is it just me, or is this actually really ugly? And it's like they want to be different.
Yeah,
they want to be like, haha, look how different and negative I am. Look at me with my different opinion and these sheeple who think that she looks good.
There's always,
And so the first couple of times I would let the comment live because I'm like, whatever.
Yeah.
But I noticed that once one happened,
then
and more would pile on because people felt like they had the safe space to be negative. So then the next couple of times I just delete them because I'm like, you're just actually being rude. And this is my page.
Yeah.
If you're being rude to me, I don't have to allow it.
Fair, yeah.
And if I remove that comment, then it just doesn't snowpile.
Fair.
But I do think there is a culture of what I call negativity signaling.
That's interesting because that is a thing. That is definitely a thing. Yeah.
Think it's fun to be negative without realizing there were actual consequences and people on the other side of the screen.
Very true.
They see something for 2 minutes and they're like, oh my God, people actually think this. And they put their 2 cents in.
I think that's the thing is just like, because here's the thing, right? Going off of what you said.
Yeah.
Some of my friends always like to say that like, oh, you're just saying that to be different. And like, I get it. But I think there's a difference when, obviously you can have a different opinion. Duh. But I think it's just different when like you actually type it out and take the time to fucking say.
I also think there are ways of expressing.
Exactly. I think that's the main thing.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
when like
saying, oh, is it just me or is this ugly?
Yeah. Like
it's very different to being like, oh, not my style, but glad that you're like,
exactly.
You know what I mean?
100.
And it's like, if you're going out of your way to be rude, that is where I have an
That's
issue.
exactly
Well,
it.
you guys need to learn manners.
I think that's exactly it. Is like when you have to make it rude / like negative / hurtful to the person.
Yeah, because you want to, because that's what that's your
exactly.
intention.
Clearly, that's the intention.
Your intention.
Clearly,
and don't get me wrong, like I have definitely seen stuff on my social media, and I've thought, oh, but I would never say it.
I think that's the other thing. Is just like just don't say it.
I would never say it.
Yeah, why do you need to take the time to say it?
I have had people. So you know, on every single social media now, there is like a DM function. You can send things privately, including people's content. I've had people tag their friends publicly in my comments with laughing emojis, being like, "Oh my god, she looks so stupid," and I'm like,
oh god,
you can take that to the DM.
Yeah, you can definitely have done that privately.
You knew I would see this. You knew other people would see this, and you're having a little giggle to yourself, thinking, "Hee hee, look at her." So I just delete them.
Legit, like.
So I just delete them because I'm like, you're not getting airtime.
Fair enough. Like, I just don't get it when, like, especially like I see this a lot with, like artists and photographers and videographers or whatnot on like social media, and just people like bashing their work, and I'm just like, the thing is, okay, it could be poo. Right. And a lot of the time I'll probably be like, it's not the best, but there's no need to fucking like, okay, constructive feedback is always good. Yeah. And as an artist, I think that's so important to receive constructive feedback, but you need to phrase constructive feedback with that lens and with that intention. But if you have the intention of hurting someone, that's when it's exactly like shit. So when you're just like, and firstly, when you don't even offer any constructive feedback and it's just like, this is shit. And you're like, if you can explain why it's shit, if you can explain. It's I'm just there like, bro, there's no need to hurt this person's feeling, you know?
I think there is a culture online that is, what's the word? I don't know to say devoted to, but like very invested in the idea of humbling people.
Interesting. I kind of get that.
It's often when there's, you know, I've seen it often online where people in the videos or content in question are clearly very confident and very happy in themselves. And people just, some people are just like, what's the word? They compulsively have to be like, oh, they think they look good. And I'm like, okay, even if they don't look good, A, it's subjective, and B, what does it have to do with you?
Yeah, it's very true. It definitely is a thing.
Why are you so upset that someone out there is living their life, completely doesn't know you exist, and is happy living their life in their own skin?
Very true.
But you hate that so much that you have to make it known that you're like, you like them.
No, very true. It's interesting, like, we there is this culture of, oh, this person's doing so much better. This person's doing so well. Obviously there are, but people's intentions are never like, oh, you're doing great. Like, so happy for you. A lot of the time people are like, nah, fuck you. Like, you know, why are you doing better?
I see it way, way worse on Instagram Reels than on TikTok. I think TikTok used to be quite toxic, but I think recently it has evolved to be, honestly, it is a more positive platform than Reels. Okay. But I think it's also because Reels has a lot more, because Reels sometimes also a bit on Facebook. You get a lot of boomers, you get a lot of older millennials.
Yeah.
That can be very rude.
Yeah.
And also take things really literally. Like, also reading comprehension is an all-time low.
It's true though.
Like there's this social media account that I love following. It's called The Said Life, and this woman who runs it must have the patience of a saint. Okay. Because her whole shtick is she makes meals for her dogs, but like in dog version. So like she, instead of so she made them raising canines instead of raising canes. Okay. And like cute. She'll make them like a porkatsu curry. You know what I mean? Like she makes like very dog friendly versions. Cute. And on the screen in big letters, she will have the ingredients that she is using, and they are clearly dog friendly. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And this one time she made them like Dunkin' dog nuts or something, right? Cute. In clear bright letters, carob. That is what she's putting on these. so many of the top comments, you can't give chocolate to dogs. Why are you poisoning your dogs?
That's
chocolate is and I'm like,
that's actually so true.
And I'm like, this poor
that's
woman.
Actually
because
so
all she is trying
true.
to do is make happy videos feeding her cute dogs fun dog-friendly versions of human food. And
you think first you think she doesn't know?
No, literally as well. This is again, I'm like,
brother.
Not only do you clearly have low intelligence, you are also trying to bring us down to your level of intelligence, which is frankly a little bit insulting and a little bit rude.
Like genuinely, like, oh, bro.
I think she must be the most patient woman on the internet.
I think you have to be nowadays.
I could not do that. I would have turned my comments off at that point.
I get you. No, I feel you, man. I don't know. I feel like on that point, like I see that on so many levels. It will be like something as simple as like one of my own, I think it was like my last post or something. I just did some like wings or something on for a shoot. And then in the description, I fully said like, oh, making of coming soon.
Yeah.
And then the amount of DMs are like, how did you do this? Or like, whoa. And I'm like, bruh, it fully just says I'm releasing a making of tomorrow, bro.
Like, sometimes it's really bad. So like one of the other videos I noticed, she made them like a beef stroganoff, but like the dog beef stroganoff. Yeah.
Sick.
And so many comments were like, you shouldn't give onions to dogs. And she replied back, well, it's a good thing I didn't then, because I didn't use onions in this video. And I'm like, this poor
it must be the amount of patience you must have dealing with like trolls and haters.
Because like I can barely keep it together when like I've done videos before. I'll do like, I've been like shopping and I'll be like, oh guys, check out what I bought from XYZ. I said it at the beginning of the video.
They're like, where'd you get it?
In the caption, it's on the screen, and the first comment is, oh my God, where did you get that?
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like
so I love you guys, but I am pleased begging you to read.
Do you know okay. Please don't feel like this is targeted, but maybe you missed it. I don't know. Somehow you may have missed it. But whenever I'm like, hey, does anyone want to assist me on a shoot? And I'll always say London, and I'll always say date. And they'll be like, hey man, I'm in Atlanta. I saw your message, bro. Like, I would love to come. I'm just like, okay, but how?
I think 50% of those haven't read it and 50% are just trying their luck.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah. Which again, fair enough if you.
But also, if I was trying my luck, I would preface it by being like, hey, I'm not in London. However, I would love to like have a chat. I'd love to work with you sometime. Yeah. Because I wouldn't want the person who I want to mentor me to think I'm an idiot.
Hey, that's what I mean. It just comes off like, again, I'm sure your intentions are really good and like big up, but still, it just comes off as just like, bro, I fully said London. But nah, I feel you. It's you need a lot of patience, especially.
But I also think the way that we consume media is very different. Like I think the reason that people are missing out on basic reading is because they're not watching. They have TikTok open the same time they have a TV show on and a podcast playing.
Exactly.
No wonder they're not processing the words.
I was about to say, like, I think there is something, it's maybe like the interface isn't like really built for you to read.
We need to slow down. Take a breather.
Yeah, it's like, I don't know. I think
because like have you seen? I don't know if you've seen it. Someone made a tweet that was like people complaining about complex shows when the way they watch them is like this, and it's like them on their phone with it just like behind them in the background.
Get me started on people like this,
because there was like there's obviously like a shit ton of House of the Dragon discourse on my timeline, and people would say these like most dog shit takes, and people would be like, "Did you watch the show?" I
legit I get
and
that
it's because
so
they're
often.
Not watching. They're like,
it's true. There's something wrong with the way everything is consumed now. Like everything is so like there's just so much happening and going on at the same time. I
definitely used to be a victim of like I need several modes of things going on at once.
Like the Temple Run, Temple Run video. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But I feel like I have got better at kind of retraining.
That's good.
My attention span.
That's good.
By reading books. I'm not even kidding. That is the way to do it.
100%. 100%. What are you reading at the moment?
I'm just about to start Yellowface by R.F. Kuang.
Okay, I think I know it.
Yeah, my dad bought it for me for my birthday.
Okay, sick.
It's meant to be good. So
sick. All right.
I shall read and I shall see, because I can be quite critical of books, but I did do an English degree, so that's probably why.
Fair. I'm funnily enough that you mentioned this. Yeah, I've recently started getting back into reading. Because when Eden and I went to holiday, it was fuck all to do there. So I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna bring a book, and like reading that one book is like made me think, actually, this is why I used to like reading. So right now I'm like halfway through the novelization of Once Upon a Time in Hollywood by Tarantino.
Oh.
Obviously, Tarantino as a person, you may have some strong thoughts about him, but I think him as a storyteller, amazing.
Is he the foot fetish guy?
Yeah, he is the foot fetish guy. He just loves his feet. Fair enough, no kink shaming here, but yeah, I think
apparently there's a scientific reason for that.
It being
for the foot fetish. Yeah. Apparently the parts in the brain for like certain people that process genital attraction.
Okay.
For some reason, it's like really near the part where you can perceive limbs, including feet. Something like that, where they're like really weirdly close. And for some people, they cross over.
Okay, fair. I don't get it, but fair enough.
Read it somewhere. It wasn't on TikTok. I actually did read this somewhere.
Fair play.
Can't remember it exactly, but it's something like that.
Fair play.
Anyway, Karen.
But I mean, so far the novel, I love the movie a lot. I love his films a lot, so I'm checking out his writing. He's okay. I wouldn't say he's the best writer. I think he's really good at script writing, but I think for novels, I think Tarantino loves to go on tangents and rants and stuff. He's a very knowledgeable film geek and cinephile, and he knows a lot about, Hollywood in the 70s is the period he grew up in. But every other page, there's like a half a page of tangent of like,
oh, I could not read that.
Cliff is now going to this destination, which funnily enough which is where Burt Reynolds went here. I'm like, oh, okay, I just spent like half a page, but yeah, it's interesting. I wouldn't say it's the best book I've read thus far, but I'm enjoying it. So yeah, fair. But yeah, I'd say that pretty much sums up our episode today. We're going to try and bring on a guest for the next episode just to spice things up a little bit. But leave it in the comments below if you have any suggestions, any games you want us to play, movies, books, any Eastern European countries want to hit me up with some recipes. Now's your chance. Bye.
Bye.